Hello and welcome to Charger Games. My name is Raja and this is another Unity Android game development tutorial. So in the last video we have learned about the very basics of touch controls, and in this video we're going to learn about more advanced touch controls because in order to work with Android we need to learn more about the touches. So let's take a look at what you're going to be learning in this video. So let me go ahead and play this scene. As you can see here, we have a lot of cubes in the scene. So what you're going to be doing is, whenever I'm going to touch a cube, it's going to be destroyed. I'm touching a cube from my Android tablet, and if you take a look at the scene view, I'm casting a ray that is colored red. A red colored ray from the camera to this object or the position where I'm touching, and then the ray goes and that thing gets destroyed. I'm drawing that ray so that you guys can understand where actually I'm touching on the screen. So as you can see, if I touch this cube right now, the ray goes and the cube gets destroyed. So for this, we have created a simple touch tester script, and I have also created something so that the ray gets drawn like this. So we'll be learning all these things in this video, and it's going to be very helpful. So let's get started. So first of all, let me tell you that I have this time created a 3D scene, okay, because we're going to be testing it in 3D. So I have created a 3D scene, and let me go ahead and create a new scene right here. So new scene, here's my new scene. Let me go ahead and save it. Just 2. Okay, so this is my new scene. Now what I'm gonna do is let me go ahead and create an empty game object here, and I'm gonna attach all these things in this empty game object, and I'm gonna name it touch tester. Let's from here just select it and attach an icon to it. Let me select the orange one so that we can actually see where the touch tester is. I don't think it really matters, but this is for the sake of this. Okay, so now we're gonna attach a script to the touch tester that is gonna take care of all the touch controls or all the touch controls that you're gonna test. So let's go and create a new add component, new script, and let's name it touch test. Let me go ahead and create an add. So let me open it in MonoDevelop. Okay, so first of all, let us understand a bit what you're going to be doing here. So I'm going to touch different positions on my Android device's screen. So what will happen is, in the previous video we have learned how we can take the position of the touch. So we already know how we can get the position where we are actually touching. But in order to collide that touch, or in order to get the information that if we are touching on some objects, suppose I have created some cubes, and if we want to get the information that my touch is actually touching that cube, or my touch is actually colliding with the cube, in order to do that we have to do a lot more things. So in this case we'll use a property called Raycasting. Raycasting means creating and casting a ray from a certain position towards a direction of a certain length. In this case we will create a ray of infinite length from our camera to the touch position on our screen. So what will happen is, a ray will go from the camera to the position where we are touching on the screen, and then if the ray collides with an object, so that means there's an object at the position where we are touching, so that will destroy that object. That's what you're gonna do in this video. Okay, so our first step is to get the position where we are touching on the screen. So let me go ahead, and we already know how to know where we are touching on the screen. So in order to get the position of the touch, we have to write input dot get touch 0 dot position. Now if you don't understand this thing what I'm writing, I have explained all these concepts very in depth in the previous video, so I would request you to check out the previous video so that you can understand all these things. Okay, so this is how we are actually getting the position of the touch or wherever I am touching. But the problem is, if we want to cast a ray from the camera to this position, then we have to convert this position to a ray. Okay, so there's an inbuilt function of our camera that can convert this thing to a ray. So in order to convert this position to a ray, in order to convert this touch position to a ray, we have to write Camera.main.screen. Here you can see here's a function called ScreenPointToRay. So if I go and select that, so what that means is inside that function I am putting the position or the touch position, and this is basically converting from screen point to a ray. Okay, so this is taking a point on our screen and then it is converting that to a ray. Okay, so now we have to store this ray inside a ray type of variable. So let me go ahead and create a special variable of type ray. So write ray, and inside this ray we are going to store this ray that we are getting from the touch position. Okay, so now next thing you have to do is we have to do something called raycasting. By raycasting, we will cast a ray from our camera to the touch position, and we'll take a look at if that ray is colliding with any object. And if the ray is colliding with any object, that means we are touching something, and that is when we'll debug log a message writing that it touched something. Okay, so in order to cast a ray, we have to write physics. Since it's a physics property, so we have to write physics.raycast. And if I can see here we have 12 different kind of functions, or 12 different kind of functions for this raycasting. So among these we're going to use I think this one. Okay, you can use this one first, or probably okay, we're gonna use this one first. So I'm gonna, as a first parameter, we have to pass the array that we want. So I'm gonna pass the array variable that we are creating here. As you can see, from the touch position we're getting this array, and we're gonna pass it here. And in the second variable we're gonna pass how much of length we want the array to be. So we want the array to be of infinite length, so I'm passing mathf.infinity. So that means we are creating an array that's infinite length, okay. So what this function raycast does is it takes this ray and this distance, and then it creates an array from the camera to the touch position, and then it returns us if it has collided with something or not. So it returns true or false. So we have to check if physics.raycast. So inside if block I'm checking this. That means if it has hit something, it will return true, and if it hasn't collided with something, it will return false. So if it has collided with something, that means if it returns as true, then we're going to write debug.log hit something. Okay, something, I spelled it wrong here. Hit something. Okay, so here this will just cast a ray from a camera to the touch position, and then if it collides with something, then it will write hit something. So in our scene, let me save the scene, and in our scene let me create some 3D object cubes so that we can actually check if it is actually touching something. So let me go ahead and duplicate this cube and place it all over the place so that we can check from different angles. So first of all, let me move the view a bit because I can see my camera. Where is my camera, by the way? Okay, let me go ahead and move to this view. I think it would be better. Okay, put it here. Again duplicate it. This time put it here. Again duplicate it. This time put it right there. This is only so that we can actually test the different kind of touch controls here. Okay, right now as you can see the cubes are pretty in different positions, so let me go ahead and align it with the camera view. So select the main camera, go to edit. Oh, have I forgot where that thing is? Okay, let me go to game object and write align with view. So what that will do is this will align the scene view to the game view. Okay, so now it looks like this. So now since all of these cubes have a collider already attached to them, as you can see a box collider is attached to them, so if a ray is casted from the camera here, if I move the view a bit and select the camera, if a ray is casted from the camera to these objects, so the ray can be collided with these objects since they have already a collider attached to them. So if the ray gets collided with the objects, it will print on our console that it collided with something. So let me go ahead and play this scene and see what is going on. So as you can see right now the scene is going on. Okay, and if I touch this object here, as you can see I'm touching this object and it is saying that hit something here. And again if I touch this object it says hit something. If I clear it, again if I touch it, it says hit something. Okay, so now we can see that actually we are testing the touch controls and you can see that we are actually hitting something. And here we got an index out of bounds error. We're gonna fix that right now. So stop display mode. This is giving us an index of out bounds since we are only checking the 0 touch position here, but there we are touching more than once here. So let me go ahead and put a condition here. If input dot touch count is greater than 0, that means if we are actually touching the screen. And then I want to check what I'm doing right now. No. And then we're gonna check input dot get touch 0 dot phase equals touch phase dot began. Then we want to check all these things here. Okay, okay. If you are not understanding what I'm writing here, please make sure to check out the previous video because I have discussed all about these things there. So here we are checking if input touch count greater than 0, that means we are actually touching the screen, and the touch phase is began. That means I have just touched the screen. I am not touching it for a long time. Only then we're gonna check all these things. Okay. So right now, as of now, we have the ability to check if we can touch an object. So next I'm gonna draw this ray by using debug.drawRay so that you guys can see clearly where the ray is coming and where it is going and when it is printing touched. So write debug.drawRay, and here I have to pass a start point where I will pass ray.origin, not this kind of ray, it's small ray, ray.origin. So this will be the origin point of the ray. So from where the ray is starting to ray dot, oh, not this ray, ray dot off, or ray dot direction times, let's say we wanna pass it up to 20. Okay, 20 times long. So what we're doing here, we are drawing the ray that we are casting from the origin position of the ray. So from where the ray starts towards the direction 20 units apart. So we are making the ray 20 units long. You can make the ray short, but I'm just making 20 so that it gets long enough so that we can actually visually see it on the screen. So now you'll be able to see the ray and your doubts will be clear. Where is parsing error here? Line 26. Where is that? Okay. Okay, I have missed a curly brace here. I think now everything is okay. Okay. So now this time if I okay, so let me also give this ray a color so that you guys can see it. So at the third parameter you have to write color dot red. So now what will happen is that a red color ray will be fired. So let me go ahead and run it right now. And this time if I okay, this ray exists. This time if I touch a position, you can see a red colored ray gets casted and it says hit something. If I clear it again and touch this cube, the ray goes from the camera to this cube here and it says touched. Okay, and if I touch somewhere else, the ray goes but nothing gets printed. Only if I touch the cube at that time, as you can see, I'm touching the cube this time. If I clear it, I'm touching here and there and nothing gets printed because we are not colliding with anything, or we are not touching anything. But if I touch the cube, as you can see, the ray goes from the camera to the cube and this time it says hit something. Okay, and it is hitting again and again and again. So this is how we actually test the touch controls and how we are actually, if we are actually colliding with something with a touch. Okay, so next what we're gonna do is we have one more thing to do. Now this time what we want to do is, if we are touching this cube, we want this cube to be destroyed. Okay, so if we want the cube to be destroyed, or if we want the object we are touching to be destroyed, then we have to get the information of what we are touching, or I'm sorry, what we are hitting with the ray. Okay, so if we want to get information about what we are hitting with the ray, we have to create another type of variable that's called raycast hit, and let's name it hit. So this variable will take care of the things that the ray hits. Okay, so this hit, or this raycast hit stores information about the object or anything that the ray hits. Okay, so if we can access to that object which the ray hits, then we can destroy that object, move that object, or do whatever we want to do with the object. Okay, so as you can see here, here we are casting the ray and we are getting information about that. Next, what we can do is, this time we'll use another variation of this function. So this time we'll say ray, comma, and then as a second parameter we have to use this hit variable. Okay, so if we use this hit variable and put the word out before it, if I write hit and put the word out before it, so that means we will get all the information about the object that has been hit inside this hit variable as an output of this function. Okay, so that we can check about the hit variable in the next frame or in the next statement. So next parameter we'll pass is, let me see, next thing I think we'll pass the distance of how much we want to cast the ray. That's method.infinity. I think this version is good. So we're gonna pass math f.infinity, and by this thing what will happen is, this time this will cast a ray from the origin position to wherever we are touching in infinite way or of infinite length. It will cast a ray of infinite length, and if the ray hits something, then it will store the information about that object inside this hit variable. So now we can get access to that variable by using this hit variable. Okay, so now if we want to destroy that object which we are hitting by touch, we want to say destroy hit dot transform dot game object. So this way we can destroy the variable that we are actually hitting. Okay, I hope you guys got it. I will explain more about these things after we test this thing here. So this time let me play it, and if I play, and this time as you can see, if I touch this cube, as you can see it says hit something and it got destroyed. And now if I touch this cube again, the ray goes and it gets destroyed. If I touch this cube, ray goes and it's destroyed, and again the ray goes and it gets destroyed. So this is how we actually get access to the objects that we are hitting by using raycasting, and then we are getting access to that object by using this hit variable, and then we are destroying that object, or we can do whatever we want to do with that object. Okay, so let me go one more time through all these things that we have done here. So first of all, we are creating a ray by using the position where we are touching on the screen and converting it to a screen point array, and then storing it into the array function, array variable. Then we are drawing a ray so that we can visually see where the ray is going. Then we are doing raycast and passing the ray here, and we are checking if the ray is actually hitting something, and if it hits something, then it will put information about hit object inside this hit variable. And then we are getting access to that object which has been hit by using hit.transform.game object, and we are destroying that. So I hope it got cleared. I know it's pretty confusing, and I try to keep it as simple as possible. So thank you very much for watching. This is it for this video, and I have changed some settings of my microphone so that you don't get any noise from outside. Let me know if the sound is good or bad. And if you guys enjoyed this video, learned something, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. So thank you very much for watching. And if you guys really enjoyed, make sure to write those in comments and let me know if you guys loved this video or hate this video. So thank you very much and have a great day. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.